Attention, stations on the network. Our broadcast will begin in 2 minutes from my mark. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. That was your 2-minute time check, stations. Attention, stations on the network. Our broadcast will begin in 1 minute from my mark. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. That was your 1-minute time check, stations.
On the Hawkeye Sports Network from Learfield. Live from the Watermill Kitchen and Bar inside the Hyatt Regency in Coralville. This is Hawk Talk with Jensen. Presented by Oak Knoll Retirement Community. Also brought to you by 988. There is hope with a 988 Lifeline. Call or text 988 for free, 24/7. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Honda, to see how Honda crushes the competition, see your local Central Midwest Honda dealer. Honda gets the Midwest. Oak Knoll, an active life care community powered by the University of Iowa Energy Collaborative, empowering Hawkeyes to do energy right. University of Iowa Healthcare, changing medicine, changing lives. U.S. Bank, proud to support Iowa basketball. U.S. Bank, equal housing lender, member FDIC. And by Wimmer's Meats, the official hot dog of the Hawkeyes. Here is your host, Rob Brooks.
Well, 85's been a pretty good number the last couple of games as the Hawkeyes have put 2 victories in a row together. 85-61, of course, at Washington. And then last night, 85-80 over a gritty Northwestern team that certainly came to play all 40 minutes, and great to have Hannah Stalkey back in the lineup as she poured in 26 points, got off to a great start, also had 6 rebounds, and was a perfect 6 out of 6 from the free throw line, led 4 players in double figures and knocked down free throws down the stretch, and the Northwestern Wildcats came to play, and they'd given some teams some trouble before last night, and Northwestern got themselves off to a really good start. Hawks weathered that storm and come away with a 5-point victory. So welcome to another edition of Hawk Talk here at the Hyatt Regency, and if you'd like to join in the conversation a little bit later on, you can do so, and we welcome that. We've already got some questions in-house here that we'll get to a little bit later on. The Twitter is at Iowa_Learfield or hashtag Hawk Talk. Facebook.com/HSP Learfield. And, of course, the U.S. Cellular text line, 319-853-8344. And you can also email your question to us, hawktalk@HawkeyeRadioNetwork.com. Jan Jensen in the house, and Last night, good crowd, energetic, and you knew, we talked about it on the pregame show, that Northwestern had given Indiana trouble, had a 16-point lead up at Minnesota, just couldn't close it out, and they came to play and did a lot of good things, as I'm sure you saw on film.
Yep. Yeah, I think a lot of times people will just look at their record and think, oh, this is just going to be an easy one. But usually folks haven't looked at the 5-6 films that the rest of us have. And, teams like that are just really, really scary. And their coach is so good. And I knew they were going to put up a pretty good fight. And they're 21. She's a really good pull-up shooter. And they were really hot. We looked at our defense, and it ebbed and flowed. But they hit some really tough threes. Man, some we were in their face. Some we blew, some ball screen coverages. But, the Big Ten is just really, really tough. And there's, you got your UCLAs and USCs. But I've always said when we talk about recruiting, in high school, these kids, when they're playing a bottom level of their conference, they usually win 79-30. And here, if you look, Indiana was down 2, and man, they're in the upper half right now. It's not like that in the bottom half typically when you're playing. So any win is a good win, especially when, we've been ebbing and flowing ourselves. So I was really, really thankful we got that.
And that's just kind of the conference, too. You mentioned the teams that are right there at the top. We'll see one of them on Sunday. But, boy, you get to 4 to 14, and there is just not much separation, even when you look at the standings with still the month of February to go.
Yeah, and that's the, that's just sport, right? There's always, I always look at it, when it snows, there's always a point, that line of which it does not snow, right? There's always that point. And when you look at that middle, right, there's just that whoever climbs, it's the shot that doesn't quite fall typically. And that's where we just come up on the short end of that stick, unfortunately, all too often. And so it was, really, really great to see this team that, 8 out of the 13 are new. And that's, the people that, only had about 5 people returning, and about 2 of them really played a lot of minutes. So, when we lost the first one, that Maryland game, I just kept saying, guys, we're closer than we're farther. But it's that if you look at those scores, if Illinois doesn't beat us, I'm not so sure Illinois is undefeated to this point. But you get one of those to fall, then all of a sudden you got a whole different perspective, and then you get that next one, and then all of a sudden that confidence booms. But if you on the short end of that, then when that 4 to 14, boy, you can find yourself on the bottom edge of that, and it's really not that big of a separation. Right. But it goes back to that line of the snow. There's a line. There is a line, and you do not want to be on the other side of the line. And that's where, unfortunately, when we, drop those, I just had to keep them understanding it's about today. If we keep taking care of today and getting a little bit better, there's still going to be enough season left. And that's why we're just so happy for them that we had such a good game at Washington.
And last night you needed those free throws too. 18 out of 20. Knocked down 12 out of 12 in the fourth quarter because Northwestern was just not going to go away. They hit tough shots down the stretch, and you felt like, okay, it's a 2-possession game. We're in good shape. Then all of a sudden it's a 1-possession game, and you got to get right back to the free throw line. But they all went in last night. Yeah,
and that's, it'd have been nice if a few of those would have gone in about 2 weeks ago too.
It's about today,
yes,
champ.
I know. Amen. Preach it, sir. Yeah, that's what was so great is, I really talked to the players about that, and everybody I know, our fan base was so frustrated about that, and so was I. And the one thing about free throws, though, is you have to be really careful in working them through that, because nobody wants to miss those free throws. None of those kids did not shoot their free throws all summer, right? We have a routine and they do it. It is very, very, very mental. And so I've always thought my whole career, you have to really walk that line finely. And, my motivation, I could be mad and you could throw the clipboard and really get on them, but nobody felt worse than they did missing those free throws at Illinois, missing those free throws against Nebraska. We make one in about 3 of those games, and we win, right? So the one thing I did challenge them with is, there's a definition of insanity that says, what really insanity is doing the same thing and expecting different results. So I said, if you're doing the same extra work after practice or before practice that you've been doing, I said, then that ain't gonna work. Is the one thing I do know is your mind will believe in extra work. If you put in the time, when you go into a game, you can have a confidence that, like, you know what, I did X, Y, and Z. I don't know if she did it, but I know what I did. And that's the thing that can trip your mind. And I said, so whatever your routine is, I said, you got to put a lot more pressure. When you miss one, you run a wind sprint. If you miss two, you double the wind sprint. I said, that's the cost of admission to being successful. So that's how I kind of went about it. It's like, you know what? We can do a lot of things, but we can't shoot your free throws. We cannot shoot your shots. I can believe in you until I'm blue in the face, but what are you going to change? And so, I do think that they collectively, have been doing a really good job. But, I told them after that Oregon game, I said, our goal, my goal is at practice, I always want us to shoot 75% in games, minimal of that. And we hit 5 for 7 in Oregon. And I said, that's 71%. I said, do you know what Oregon shot? Because they hadn't seen a box score. And I said, they went 1 for 1. And they won by 1. I said, that's the business we're in.
Yep.
It comes down to margins. I said, so the preparation that we do today is always going to take care of tomorrow. So I was thrilled for Hannah Stalkey, really thrilled. And I'm hoping that's going to springboard us into the rest of the season, that she can step up the line and hit it.
Yeah, 6 for 6 last night. And you were practicing out in Seattle in between the Oregon and Washington game, and they had a chart on the wall. I think Raina took a picture of it. Just, I think it was 8 or 9 different steps in a free throw ladder. Make 5 in a row and then shoot 75%, whatever they all were, and you had to complete that, which you shot really well if you complete all those steps.
You really did.
Just something different, that almost like a game within the game yourself.
It was I think all like kind of serendipitous. I like those different signs. I have a pretty strong faith. Some people sometimes call them coincidences. I call them kind of God things. But I think that was kind of a fun thing, because we were disappointed and we were borrowing
and here it's right in front of you.
Well, it was at Seattle, right? Yeah. We couldn't get into Washington's gym, and it was just on this dry erase board in their auxiliary gym. And I saw all of them reading it. And sometimes you're just searching, right? What's something different we can do? And so we took a little picture of it, and I think, some of them may have, I haven't asked them if they incorporated that or not, but I do know that they're putting in the extra work, but there's still, a good amount of season left, so let's hope this is the beginning of something really good.
Yeah, 48% from the floor last night, 41% from 3, 9 of 22, and then we talked about the free throw shooting, winning numbers, and then 85 points on the board the last 2 outings. 70% from the floor, but still.
Right. Yeah, that was a little
right. That's not going to happen. Maybe not again, but still, these are solid numbers that are winning numbers.
Yeah. I'd like to see the 2-point percentage of our game last night. I thought we missed too many layups. But it was nice to see the 3-point shooting kind of come alive there at the end. And that was in large part due to Leah Guyton. That was certainly fun to see her. And I think Sid had a really good night. So, the interesting thing about last night's game, we have really been, we track a lot of categories. We usually, we like to see, do we outscore the other team's bench? We usually have. We didn't last night. Do we out-rebound them? We usually have. Most of the games, even the ones we've lost. Last night we tied. We also like to try to get stops in a row. 3 stops in a row. If you get 3 stops in a row and you can score, you can really extend your margin of the lead. And last night was the first night that we didn't. We were really low. We were only at 2. It's the lowest of the year. But thankfully, our offense for once was decent. We were able to shoot the 3. But if we can, get the defense and the offense happening at the same time, like we did at Washington, if we can do that consistently, we can have a pretty fun run.
Led for 26 minutes and 29 seconds. Northwestern for 11:46, as we talked about, got off to a really good start. But then the second and third quarters were really good, and then got a really good start in the fourth quarter as well. And you mentioned, Sydney, 13 points and knocked down 3 threes, which is great to see, and also 6 rebounds and 5 assists. So once again, she has that complete floor game, doing a little bit of everything, but really getting into the scoring column.
Yeah, and what I think Sid does it best is when she lets it come to her. Sometimes when she'll get antsy and wants to create and maybe, forces a three that isn't quite as wide open. I thought last night, and the games of which she's played really, really well, she just kind of takes what's there. And I thought she did that really, really well last night. She had some nice takes on the drive, but her threes were at appropriate times, and, they were nice, pass and catch type of threes. So, for us to continue having success, we're going to need, Sid to continue being that steady that you can count on in the stat sheet.
Well, it's great to have Aaliyah Guyton here on the show last week with Raina, and she played a season high, career high, in minutes, 30 minutes, 31 seconds, a career high 15 points. We talked about the 3-point shooting, 3 assists, and in the plus-minus category on the box score, plus 14, highest on the team.
Yep.
No surprise to you.
Well, no, and I've just been, I've been seeing that as she's, been coming along. And what's so amazing is, she just got released at the end of November. And
yeah, you forget about that,
well,
too.
Probably
yeah.
the last game she played was a high school gym, and probably about 40 people in attendance. They probably won by 40, right? And then she goes kind of into the fire in Cancun, and then we kind of have to watch her load of minutes because, coming back and, going with her for 30 minutes, that knee, it still needs its rest, right? But she just has a good IQ. She loves to play. She's smart. And she just has a nice way of leading. She's with you in a huddle. She says appropriate things. She's really good to quickly go on to the next. She's not worried about what happened. It's all about what that next play is going to be. And that's really, really great to have a freshman doing that. And, I would tell you that last night we won that game largely due to her contribution.
And great to have Hannah back healthy. I know she had opportunity to practice and not only just play, but really do a good job and got off to a nice start.
Yeah, that's where, I've been kind of coming with that lineup. And, I tried to play her at the 4. That's what she would prefer to play. But just missing the summer, she just couldn't, hasn't been able to get that outside shot to match with it. And then it's also kind of stymied us at the 4 because people can really sag off, and it really makes it hard to do anything else in our offense. So, we had a good visit. She shifted to that 5, playing more to her strengths. But it's just unfortunate she got the concussion because we'd been working on it in practice, and I was liking how it was looking. And then unfortunately, at the end of that Nebraska game, could we have probably used her a little bit? That's what I told her last time when she hit the free throws. I also said, well, it was probably a little easier to hit them when you weren't seeing double. Because the last
only one rim, right?
Because that's when she came off, and I'd subbed her. I did not know what had happened. And then she missed free throws, and I was like, my gosh, everybody's missing free throws. I got to get someone in there that's steady. But when she came off, she looked really dazed. And then she told, I think, Coach Raina, she's like, I'm seeing double. I saw 2 rims. And so, unfortunately, then we kind of went back to square one. So then we couldn't work on that lineup for about a week. And obviously, at the Oregon game, I'm pretty sure Hannah would have made a difference there. But the great thing is, try to use it positively. We got other people a lot more minutes. They had to be counted on. And so we got that one at Washington. And then, we had, I think she got 1 day of practice with us before she was fully cleared, because you have to kind of go through the protocol. So I was really pleased to see that, her production. And I kidded her. I said, you should have had 32. She missed like 3 layups that she should not have missed. But then I smiled and said, but I'll take that.
Get to that 47 that you had last year.
Right? Exactly.
How many charges has Kylie Fairbach taken this year? Huh?
That's a good question. She's definitely the most on our team. I do know that. We have little things that we give out, little reward systems, and they can bank these little chips for, some fun things. And she leads everybody in the little chips that she's stacked up with charges. She just has a really uncanny ability to kind of jump that dribble. And so does Hannah Stahlke. I mean, Kylie is definitely the leader, but Hannah, for a post player, she does a super job of knowing kind of how to jump into it and take it. But yeah, Kylie's pretty great at that.
But she gets in such good position because, boy, you don't want to do that too many times on a 50-50 situation. Some will go your way, some certainly won't.
Right.
But most, if not 90%, go her way.
Yeah, she has a pretty good sense to it. I think part of it...
quick feet.
Yeah, you have
Get
to have
there.
quick feet. Kylie's one of our most athletic players. But I think of all aspects of her game, I think that's one of the highest IQs she has, is kind of knowing when to take that risk. And she usually calls it pretty right.
Off and running here for Hawk Talk. Appreciate everybody coming out tonight. We'll be back here next Monday on February the 3rd. Unbelievable that January is already pretty much in the rear view mirror, the final days of it. And throughout the Iowa Corn Cyhawk Series, Iowa Corn promotes honest, hardworking values that are uniquely Iowan. Thank you to Iowa's corn farmers who lead the nation in corn and ethanol production, feeding and fueling us all. Go to iowacorn.org to learn how corn grows Iowa. Hawk Talk is presented by Oaknall, as their mission is to provide exceptional retirement living and health services through Life Care, a not-for-profit life plan community serving the Iowa City area for 58 years. Oaknall is conveniently located near the University of Iowa Healthcare Campus, Kinnick Stadium, Carver Hawkeye Arena, and, of course, downtown Iowa City. A proud sponsor of Hawkeye Athletics. Visit oaknall.com to learn more. Many of you have checked in with questions, and we invite you to do so at the Twitter, at Iowa_Learfield, or hashtag Hawk Talk. Also, Facebook.com/HSP Learfield. The U.S. Cellular text line is 319-853-8344, 853-8344. Email hawktalk@HawkeyeRadioNetwork.com. More Hawk Talk with Jan Jensen coming up next. This is Hawk Talk from Learfield.
Did you know that UI uses the same amount of energy as all the rest of Iowa City? That's why we have our own power plant, and we're committed to making it clean. By 2025, we'll rely completely on climate-friendly, alternative fuels. Deep in the boiler rooms, engineers from the University of Iowa Energy Collaborative are optimizing the power plant so it can handle these new fuels more efficiently. Learn more about it at uiowaenergycollaborative.com. That's uiowaenergycollaborative.com.
Our mission at Oaknall is to provide exceptional retirement living and health services through Life Care. I'm Steve Rowe, CEO. We are a not-for-profit life plan community and have served the Iowa City area for 58 years. Oaknall is located near the University of Iowa hospitals and clinics, Kinnick Stadium, Carver Hawkeye Arena, Hancher Auditorium, and downtown Iowa City. Visit our website at oaknall.com to learn more. We are a proud sponsor of Hawkeye Athletics. Go Hawks!
Hawk fans, stop in and visit the newly renovated guest rooms at Hyatt Regency Coralville Hotel and Conference Center, located in the heart of Iowa River Landing. Stay within walking distance of Extreme Arena, home of the Hawkeye volleyball team, as well as great restaurants, shopping, and scenic walking trails along the Iowa River. Hyatt Regency Coralville is also the home of Hawk Talk with Jan Jensen and Fran McCaffrey. Come together at Hyatt Regency Coralville, where everything you need is right here.
Conference play is here, and you could be there in style with the Iowa Lottery. Play the new Nines in a Line scratch ticket for your chance to win cash, or see the Iowa women's basketball team take on UCLA in February. Enter any non-winning scratch ticket in the VIP club today for a chance to win exclusive seats with complimentary food and beverage service, parking, and $500 in spending money. Women's basketball, men's wrestling. It's your choice in the prize zone. Check out ialottery.com/VIP for details and play today.
Woohoo! Quinn Schulte. I play safety here at the University of Iowa. On the field, I stop the run, I make the tackle, and I get interceptions.
Rosmer to throw, has time.
Yes,
it's deflected.
yes.
Intercepted again by Quinn Schulte. He's running the other way at the 40-yard line. Hawks have another turnover. We're going to slam the lid, hopefully, down. Here's an interception. That'll do it. And it's Quinn Schulte. And down there, the Hawkeyes will have first and goal.
Off the field, I help my body's defense by choosing vaccines that are right for me. Ask your doctor or healthcare provider which vaccines are right for you.
A message from Iowa HHS.
Cancer doesn't care. It doesn't care what you look like, how old you are, what you do, or where you live. We do. University of Iowa Healthcare is doing more to beat cancer than anyone in the state. From second opinions to life-saving treatments that happen here first. We lead the way in research, training, and care because we believe that UI Healthcare is here to make all of Iowa better. UI Healthcare, changing medicine, changing lives. Visit uihealthcare.org.
Welcome back to Hawk Talk with Jan Jensen, as we will get to your questions here soon. Want to say hello to Harry and Caroline, who are usually right here front and center at Hawk Talk, and then also at every game. And Harry's been a little bit under the weather here for the last week or so, but he's, I think, prepping for Sunday, so hopefully he will be inside Carver Hawkeye Arena. But boy, they never miss, and it's one of those situations. Well, if somebody's not here, they're either out of town or maybe not feeling well. It's certainly that time of year. But get well, Harry, and we'll see you hopefully on Sunday. And it's always nice when we've got our regulars here, and they let us know if they're going to miss.
I know. I appreciate that so much.
Well, Jan, let's head to Twitter here. Brandon just wants to know what you kind of learn as a head coach throughout the season. And obviously been around a lot of great ones, but you're always probably just trying to evolve, and that's kind of the way it goes, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a good question. It might take a show to answer it, right? I think it's just been an interesting role because I've been pretty close to it for so many years, as close as you can, right? I can be empathetic. I can, pretty much, bounced a lot of things off of Lisa. But, I always clearly understood that the buck stopped there, and the good, the bad, and anything in the middle, it ends in that seat. So I think shifting over, it's probably everything that, everybody tells you it is, or you thought it would be, or the funny things, or the lines everybody says, is you move over and the seat's a little hotter. Yes, that's true. You move over and it's lonelier. Absolutely. Absolutely. You move over and you realize they love you, or they hate you. Yep, that's pretty true. But I think, the difference is the relationship with the players, which I love so very much. It changes slightly. It's not a negative. It's just more of you manage a lot. You don't have as many. I used to really love to take the players to coffee, or you're watching films with them individually all the time. But now that's left to more your position coaches. So that's a little bit different because I really enjoy those relationships. But at the end of the day, now you're the ultimate boss, where you're kind of the one that, controls their definite playing time and so forth, although all of our staff has great say. So that's definitely different, and I knew that, but I think everything I knew and saw, I think experience it is just different because now you're definitely going through it. And so I think this whole year, I was very aware that this would be really, be a really hard job. It would be really difficult. But, the knowing and the going through are two different things. And I think that's the same thing with this question is, and, I knew it would be this, that, or the other, but when you're there, when you're there at the end of the day or late at night and you're on your own, you do feel that bit. But I think another practical thing is, the pace of the game and a lot of opinions flying at you, right? And you're, the way you're making it on the fly, and I have to learn Jenny, Lisa, and I, 32 years, we were just unspoken. I could just look at Lisa and she knew what I think we should run. She could look at me and I knew I better not say a word, right? You just get it, right? So just learning that I think will be, our staff is much better now than we were when we all got together, because you're learning everybody's strengths and learning everybody's, areas that we all need to improve in. So I think that's the biggest thing is just knowing. For me, there's 6 voices now on a coaching staff. There can only be 4. Now you have 6 coaches that can be vocal. So trying to balance and have everybody feel, they do have a voice, but also trying to not get it too many voices so the players are, heads are spinning. So that's every coach. It could be Lisa if she had the job still. So I think that's been a really big learning thing that I think, we've done well, or I think I've led well. So that's just a few of the things. But, hit me up in another 3 months and I'll let you know.
Which every coach goes through that.
Mm-hmm.
You're in that
Absolutely.
seat for the first time at some point in time. And I think you make a great point too, Jan, because you get a lot of input, mm-hmm. right? You've given a lot of input, mm-hmm. but the bottom line is whoever that head coach is, whatever sport it is, mm-hmm. got to make that decision. Yeah. And a lot of time, you're right, it's got to be on the fly really quick.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, basketball's an interesting sport because it's, pretty fast, right? You're like, softball.
You don't have 2 innings to wait.
Right.
Yeah.
You're like, you can maybe, call the play. You're going to, hit and run, do whatever you're thinking. Basketball, boy, it's changing. There's a turnover. It's fast. You want to call the play. Do you want to stop the flow? Do you want to do this sub? Do you want to go hot with the refs, and you're like, oh wait, I didn't want to, but I did anyway, right? So it's kind of like it's a constant flow, and then typically, it's when things are in duress that the staff gets more animated, which goes to reason, because everybody just wants to win so much. So I think just learning the ebb and flow of that has been interesting.
We'll get to more questions. We'll get to the U.S. Cellular text line, also email in just a moment. As a proud sponsor of the Iowa Hawkeyes, U.S. Cellular wants you to make the most of today by choosing game day traditions first and scrolling later. U.S. Cellular is built for us. More Hawk Talk with Jan Jensen coming up. This is Hawk Talk from Learfield.
Hey, Hawkeyes, while you're hard at work in class or on the court, there's a team behind the scenes making sure that the power keeps going, the water keeps flowing, and the temps inside are just right. Introducing the University of Iowa Energy Collaborative. The collaborative is a public-private partnership between UI, NG, and Meridium. It delivers the funds UI needs to drive our academic and research excellence while optimizing campus utilities for a generation to come. Check it out at uiowaenergycollaborative.com.
Hello, Iowa. Here's a promise. Wherever you are in this great state, University of Iowa Healthcare is here for you, even if you never walk through our doors. Educating, caring, leading research, sharing our expertise with all. Because we believe that UI Healthcare is here to make all of Iowa better. UI Healthcare, changing medicine, changing lives. Visit uihealthcare.org.
If you or someone you know is having thoughts of suicide, experiencing a mental health or substance use crisis, 988 provides a direct connection to free, confidential, and compassionate support. You'll be quickly connected to trained crisis counselors who will listen to your concerns and connect you to additional resources if needed. There is hope. For 24/7 support, call or text 988 or chat 988lifeline.org. A message from Iowa HHS.
At U.S. Cellular, we believe in having healthy relationships with our phones, so we can have better relationships with each other. Introducing US Mode, a way to set your phone for less distraction and deeper connection. So dinner can sound less like this and more like this.
What'd you learn today?
The sauropod was the tallest dinosaur ever.
Oh my goodness.
Visit U.S. Cellular in-store or online, and we'll help set your phone to US Mode, even if you're not a customer. U.S. Cellular, the 5G network built for us. See uscellular.com for details.
Our mission at Oak Knoll is to provide exceptional retirement living and health services through Life Care. I'm Steve Rowe, CEO. We are a not-for-profit life plan community and have served the Iowa City area for 58 years. Oaknall is located near the University of Iowa hospitals and clinics, Kinnick Stadium, Carver Hawkeye Arena, Hancher Auditorium, and downtown Iowa City. Visit our website at oaknall.com to learn more. We are a proud sponsor of Hawkeye Athletics. Go Hawks!
The silly moments, the proud moments, even the hard moments. They're what make life remarkable. And they're why Wellmark Blue Cross and Blue Shield is here for every moment. Committed to making healthcare better, more affordable, with more choices for care. And service and coverage that give you peace of mind no matter what comes your way. So you can show up for every tender moment, every brave moment, and every wouldn't miss it for the world moment, knowing that Blue is here for you. Go to wellmark.com/every moment to find a plan right for you.
Welcome back to Hawk Talk with Jan Jensen. Appreciate everybody checking in. Of course, Hawkeyes on a 2-game winning streak, and the USC Trojans coming up on Sunday, which we will certainly talk about as we check the U.S. Bank scoreboard. Just one other game in the Big Ten tonight. Number 14, Maryland, is leading Penn State by 11 at the end of 3, 60-49. And a little bit later on, it is Michigan at Wisconsin. Top 25, number 6 UConn 22, DePaul 16. That early on in the second quarter. And then later on tonight, Arizona State is at Oklahoma State. When it comes to your health, you need the full picture. That means the right diagnosis and the right treatment right from the start. University of Iowa Healthcare is changing medicine and changing lives. You can learn more at uihc.org. Email question from Nicholas, and he's asking about Lucy Olson. Kind of her aspirations after college. Does she want to play professionally? And thinks she's such a talented player, and I hope she pursues it. And says great win against Northwestern.
Well, thanks for the question, Nicholas. Yes, I think Lucy would like to play professionally. So, after the season's over, we'll help her, train for the tryouts or the draft. So, it's just really, it's competitive, right, to get to one of those roster spots in the WNBA. But, I think she'll do a good job. I think if someone just gives her an opportunity, she's a little slight, but she's got a kind of a, when she gets on, and I think the thing with Lucy is she's processing so much. She's experienced, but she's a freshman in the system. And so she's trying to run it. She's trying to do the right thing. And then I think sometimes that comes at the, at the expense of just playing with her feel and instinct. So it's kind of a constant battle. I'm trying to empower her and trying to give her sets early that kind of gets that confidence going. But she's just a really talented player and just a tremendous young lady too. So we're hopeful that's going to happen for her.
Jan, is that a little bit underrated, a player coming into a new system and having to play a different style? I was talking to Joe McEwen, a Northwestern coach, last night. It's 7 new players, and that takes time to get everybody on the same page where, okay, well, you have this talented player coming in, you have this player here, you got returning starters, but it's all got to gel, right?
Yeah, it really does. And, I knew it was going to be a process, and so you get all the questions, kind of incessantly, everybody, you want it to just be like it was because it was so great how it was. But even, 10 years ago after we lost Megan Gustafson, or not quite that many years ago, 7 or 8, there's a changeover, there's a changing of the guards, and you work really, really hard to try to make it as seamless as possible. So it doesn't matter if it's a great year, not a great year. It takes you a while to hit that next level. This was just a situation where you have, arguably one of the greatest players ever, generational, in Caitlin, and everything's a fever pitch. And so it's the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything in between when you're get the opportunity to take over and continue to keep that standard. And it's ebbs and flows, and I think when you're coach, you just try to stay as steady as possible, and it's all about the journey. And the journey typically has a little bumps and hits in the road. And the thing I've loved about this team, though, they've really never wavered. They've showed up every day. They've stayed the course, and we lost a lot of our scoring, and we're learning to fill that with different people with different ways, trying to get that consistent and leaning on a lot of youth. We play a lot of veterans, but there's a lot of times in a lot of games, it's the youth that either get us close, get us back, or get us over. And it's one of the most complex seasons I've ever had, notwithstanding everything else, right? But that alone, even if, this would have been 4 years ago, just the mix of who you're trying to figure out is the go-to and win, and then it's these young, the climb of this innocent of the freshmen that are just kind of like, they're your little Energizer bunnies, and so you just kind of, you want to go with them, but then you have some of the vets who are a little tighter, but Sid's been there, so the balance of that has been a really interesting challenge.
We had a question in here about three-point defense. So the team's played terrific defense most of the year. Three-pointers, what are the keys to stopping good three-point shooting teams, or one that doesn't have great numbers like Northwestern that all of a sudden got hot?
An interesting question, right? Coming
ones,
after
right?
Last night.
Yeah. They were I think
60.
under 30% on the year, though.
Well, yeah, thank you, Rob, for bringing that up. They were 60% last night.
Must be Carver.
Yeah, I know. My son says, he's like, you know what, the problem, Mom, is, Carver's just a shooter's gym.
Right.
It's just a shooter's gym, and you got all that mojo,
he's
with
right.
the team. Yeah, he's pretty right. He's pretty spot on. I got a smart son there. But, yeah, I mean, with the three-point defense, we've been pretty decent at defense throughout the year. We've let up some three-point shooting nights. Maryland was really hot. This one is, you can, when you handle ball screens, you can go over the top of screens. You can go underneath screens. You can trap it. You can high show. You can flood it, right? You go on paper and you can look. There's all this database of analytics, and you can see if someone, take for instance Caitlin. You should never, ever, ever go under a screen on Caitlin, because she can pull it and hit a three, right? So sometimes you're going by the analytics and you're going underneath, and then all of a sudden they just have a night. They go underneath. You're a little too deep. You don't really close out hard enough, and they get confident.
Division I basketball players, right?
In this situation, what happened last night, we were not handling the ball screen well. For whatever reason, against Washington, if you watched us, we handled the ball screen. Our wing ball screen defense was awesome. Last night, we just couldn't get under a screen. So we were trying to get under the screen. We were late. So she kept dribbling. We had to help, and they kicked it. And then the set shooters, who typically shoot 30%, they got hot, and we weren't able to get out there in time. So the three-point defense suffered because our ball screen defense was not good. Our ball screen defense, we were slow getting around it as guards, and our floods, which I call by the bigs, they just weren't able to get there and hold the drive. So that's what happens typically. Two things. The kid you think you can go underneath, who doesn't shoot like a Caitlin Clark, she hits a few, and you're like, doggone it. Or you're not handling penetration in any way, and they pitch it because you've got to help, you've got to lean, and by the time you recover, they hit the shot. So when you have good deep three-point defense, is because you're handling the other things. And so when you're handling the other things, then they're not quite so open.
Good description.
There we go.
I like it. Oaknall's mission is to provide exceptional retirement, living, and health services through Life Care, a sponsor of Hawk Talk as well, a not-for-profit life plan community serving the Iowa City area for 58 years. Oaknall, conveniently located near University of Iowa Healthcare Campus, Kinnick, Carver, Hawkeye, and downtown Iowa City. And, of course, a proud sponsor of all Hawkeye athletics. Visit oaknall.com to learn more. More Jan Jensen with Hawk Talk from Learfield coming up.
Did you know that UI ranks near the top of the EPA's Green Power Leaderboard with 84% of our energy coming from renewable sources? Now you can be a part of the team that makes it happen. The University of Iowa Energy Collaborative, with our partner, NG Iowa, is offering full-time positions in utility operations for our campus and hospital water, heating, steam, and distribution systems. Check out the jobs and apply at uiowaenergycollaborative.com.
Our mission at Oak Knoll is to provide exceptional retirement living and health services through life care. I'm Steve Rowe, CEO. We are a not-for-profit life plan community and have served the Iowa City area for 58 years. Oak Knoll is located near the University of Iowa hospitals and clinics, Kinnick Stadium, Carver Hawkeye Arena, Hancher Auditorium, and downtown Iowa City. Visit our website at oakknoll.com to learn more. We are a proud sponsor of Hawkeye Athletics. Go Hawks!
Hawk fans, stop in and visit the newly renovated guest rooms at Hyatt Regency Coralville Hotel and Conference Center, located in the heart of Iowa River Landing. Stay within walking distance of Extreme Arena, home of the Hawkeye volleyball team, as well as great restaurants, shopping, and scenic walking trails along the Iowa River. Hyatt Regency Coralville is also the home of Hawk Talk with Jensen and Fran McCaffrey. Come together at Hyatt Regency Coralville, where everything you need is right here.
The silly moments, the proud moments, even the hard moments. They're what make life remarkable. And they're why Wellmark Blue Cross and Blue Shield is here for every moment. Committed to making healthcare better, more affordable, with more choices for care. And service and coverage that give you peace of mind no matter what comes your way. So you can show up for every tender moment, every brave moment, and every wouldn't miss it for the world moment, knowing that Blue is here for you. Go to wellmark.com/every moment to find a plan right for you.
I'm Nick Jackson. I play linebacker here at the University of Iowa. On the field, I stop the run, I make the tackle, I drop in coverage.
Third down 11. Straight back to pass is Sullivan. He's running for his life. Down he goes. That's a loss of another 6. Nick Jackson.
Off the field, I help my body's defense by choosing vaccines that are right for me. Ask your doctor or healthcare provider which vaccines are right for you.
A message from Iowa HHS.
Not all internet is created equal. It's a lot like choosing a quarterback. Technically, you could sign up any new rookie provider on the block, but the success of every device in your home depends on it. Will they perform in the clutch, or will they buffer under pressure? Extreme provides the speed you need with a 100% gigabit technology network and amplified Wi-Fi. And unlike signing a quarterback, Extreme Internet requires no contracts. There's only one pick to lead your team. It's Extreme, powered by Mediacom.
Appreciate everybody coming out and joining us for Hawk Talk here at the Hyatt Regency in Coralville every single week here at the Watermill Kitchen and Bar, and watching the live show each week. We'll be offering an extended happy hour. That includes dollar wings, $3 drafts, and domestics, and $5 house wines. So come on down to the Watermill Kitchen and Bar. Join us for a great evening. If you haven't joined us yet, come on down. Still time here in the month of February. Our next Hawk Talk will be next Monday, February the 3rd at 6 o'clock. And that leads up to Sunday. And PW in Burlington. Jan, just curious if you got a couple extra tickets for Sunday's game. I hear there's going to be a few people around.
Holy buckets, if I had a few extra tickets, we'd be selling those babies, I hear.
Yeah, we wouldn't be sitting here, would we?
You know, I heard somebody I knew, they put some up real early, and I think they got quite the amount for them. But, you know, I am so sorry, PW. I do not have any extra, but
I'd even be afraid to ask.
Yeah, I think, you know, we just... we've used all of our allotted, you know, with recruits, and then obviously the ones we have some of our boosters, and but it's it's going to be an electric day. It's going to be really so fun to celebrate Caitlin. You know, I feel so blessed. We got to celebrate Megan Gustafson, and man, you know, that was a moment, and this is going to be a really neat moment for Caitlin. I'm pretty sure she'll get another jersey retired in the pro level, but there's no secret how much she loves the Hawkeyes and how much the Hawkeyes love her. So it's going to be a really, really fun day.
Yeah, I'm sure she'll have a fun weekend. And, of course, everybody will be ready to go on Sunday on 2-2 for 22. And, of course, the USC Trojans come to town. And, boy, ranked number 4. They do play one more game before Sunday, 18-1. And they have, along with UCLA, bit of force here in the Big Ten, no surprise.
Yeah, I mean, the Big Ten is, everything is just, from a year ago, the season, the job, everything has just changed. When you think of rev share, collectives, NIL, the conference, I mean, who we added for women's basketball was the same thing when we added Maryland and when we added Nebraska. When we've been here that long, it was like those two teams that got added. When Nebraska got added, they won the Big that year. And when Maryland got added, they won the Big that year. I think we were second or third, right, in the standings. But this particular year, they're just really great teams. Washington's solid, Oregon, and then these guys both ranked in the top 5. And then it's kind of weird is we only have one common opponent. So in this year, like you can't ever have a game and then try to adjust and tweak your strategies and get it back, right? The only time we get to do that now is Nebraska, and that's kind of a harder one because the border wars are just different. You throw out everything with them. If you're playing your common opponent, let's say we're playing Michigan State twice, that's going to be hard, but there's not the blood and the whatever that is between Nebraska or, so it's just different. So, you have this game on the road or at home, it's going to be really difficult. But that's what makes the Big Ten so special. That's what makes it ranked as one of the best conferences in the country. And, it's going to be, arguably the next most exciting player of this era. There's 3 or 4. Notre Dame has a couple. Paige Becker's out of Connecticut, but Juju Watkins is, quite a player. But she's got a power forward that, she's really good too. I mean, the whole team is pretty good.
Yeah, what do they do really well? Pressure you?
Yeah, their defense is great. I mean, their defense, they're the number 1 defense, I think, in the Big. They pressure you so hard. I think they're holding opponents like in the 30s. 30% defense. I don't know. I don't want to misspeak of what they're holding, but I think
some teams have had a tough time
scoring
40
points. They're incredibly low, 35% from 2 and 25% from 3. That's in the Big. That's what they're doing defensively. So they just get out, and it's really pretty suffocating. And then transitionally, they're really good. Juju Watkins is, comes down and she likes to pull it, from deep, really smooth with it. Her ability to score is really unmatched. So we really got to try to slow that transition, and we're really practicing a lot against a lot of pressure because they went to Connecticut, they won at Connecticut, they won at Maryland, so they're definitely very legit, and we're going to have to play the very best game that we've played to pull it off.
But it'll be a great atmosphere.
Oh, it's going to be great. I know Carver faithful, our Hawkeye fans will be there. And I love our game plan. I think we're working on a lot of different things. But the key is, we got a lot of young people that are going to really be facing a defense that they really haven't seen. And we've seen some good defenses. Oregon's defense was really good. It held us to 49. And they also held Indiana to 47 points. So it's, there's some pretty good deed being played in the old Pac-12.
No doubt about that. And Casey had a question about USC, which we've covered, but also wants to know your go-to coffee order.
Oh, man, I do love my coffee. I would probably like all the foo-foo things, but that's too many calories and another $16
You're disciplined, right?
On it. I'm a cold brew with half and half every day, all day. Boom. That's my order. I love it. Love it. I do like a good hot cup of coffee with friends, with the actual mug. But when I'm going to work or we got to get down to business, I can throw down that cold brew real nice and fast over ice.
There you go, Casey. So you better have one. Hava Heiden didn't get into the game last night, and that just more to do with matchups because she did some good things on the West Coast too.
Look, here's the deal. I would love to get her in, and I challenged our staff today. I said, okay, could we? How do we do that? But when we shifted Hannah to the 5. If she would have stayed at the 4, it's Tegan Mullaney, right? Because you got, Hannah playing the 4 predominantly a lot of minutes, and Sid kind of plays that position in the 3. When we shifted her to the 5, now you have Addie and Hannah and Ava that can play and get those minutes when Hannah's not playing. When Hannah plays like Hannah can play and she's got 26 points and, 6 boards, then there's a lot of flow. You don't have the luxury just to give 1 or 2 minutes to like Addie, and then you're going to give 1 or 2 minutes to Ava, especially when the game is tight, right? It wasn't like we were ever rocking and rolling and it was up by 15. So that's the hard part, and I hate it. I think every coach, hates that, but I track every stat in practice, everything. There's a reason. And, if we can ever get some separation, we're going to get kids in. And that was the nice thing, when we didn't have Hannah, Ava, and Addie got to play out against Washington. So, Ava's going to have some amazing minutes. It just isn't real fun right now. But her future is incredibly bright. But, usually freshmen, it's kind of a season like that. But if Tegan and Ava, they can stay the course like that, boy, they're going to have some really electrifying moments in Carver.
Just got to keep learning, and
you do, and you got to realize,
process.
Sid's a senior, right, for Tegan Mullaney, and Hannah, after a summer, we might slide her back to the 4, which can also put then Tegan at a 3. So there's a lot of changes that are going to be happening next year, but for right now, we just got to do everything we need to do to win.
And then you look at Addie O'Grady's had some very good moments, and she's played a lot of basketball, had a tremendous amount of experience, and then came off the bench last night and did some good things and got off to good starts on the West Coast. And it's hard to not play her in that 5 as a backup.
It really is, and that's the hard thing. And Addie has worked, her whole career, and Addie is sacrificing, right? She started and now she hasn't, but she's ready when she comes off the bench. And, I think every level of a sport, whether you're talking the pros to junior high to little league, you're trying to get people in when you can, but if it's competitive, you kind of have to go with the data and go with the role. And but I feel like Ava is going to get in some games, and it could be Sunday because we're going to play some really tall bodies that are very athletic, very fast, and that might be more suited. So what I've been preaching the whole year is stay ready.
No doubt about it. Jan, thanks so much, and great to see you. We'll see you on Sunday afternoon.
Great. And thanks to our great crowd, and thanks for everybody listening. God bless, and go Hawks.
And we'll talk to you on Sunday, Iowa and USC. The Fran McCaffrey Show is up next.
At MidAmerican Energy, our 1.6 million customers depend on our energy 24/7. That's why we work 24/7 to deliver the safe, reliable energy you need. To keep our 99.9% reliability record, we're enhancing our technology, improving resiliency, and investing in critical infrastructure. We're generating power from all available resources to cover any increases in demand. And we're innovating to ensure you always have the energy you need. MidAmerican Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
You might think Iowa grows corn, but the truth is, corn grows Iowa. Corn can even fuel your drive to watch the Hawkeyes play when you choose Unleaded 88. It's a fuel that's cheaper, cleaner, and greener. Plus, it's homegrown, making Unleaded 88 the clear choice at the pump and totally worth the hype. So as you head to cheer on the Hawkeyes this season, don't just fuel up. Pump it up with Unleaded 88. Find Unleaded 88 at a station near you. Go to iowacorn.org/88.
Conference play is here, and you could be there in style with the Iowa Lottery. Play the new 9s in a Line scratch ticket for your chance to win cash, or see the Iowa women's basketball team take on UCLA in February. Enter any non-winning scratch ticket in the VIP club today for a chance to win exclusive seats with complimentary food and beverage service, parking, and $500 in spending money. Women's basketball, men's wrestling. It's your choice in the prize zone. Check out ialottery.com/VIP for details and play today.
Woohoo!
Not all internet is created equal. It's a lot like choosing a quarterback. Technically, you could sign up any new rookie provider on the block, but the success of every device in your home depends on it. Will they perform in the clutch, or will they buffer under pressure? Extreme provides the speed you need with a 100% gigabit technology network and amplified Wi-Fi. And unlike signing a quarterback, Extreme Internet requires no contracts. There's only one pick to lead your team. It's Extreme, powered by Mediacom.
If you or someone you know is having thoughts of suicide, experiencing a mental health or substance use crisis, 988 provides the direct connection to free, confidential, and compassionate support. When you call, text, or chat 988, you'll be quickly connected to trained crisis counselors who will listen to your concerns, provide support, and connect you to additional resources if needed. There is hope. You are not alone. For 24/7 support, call or text 988 or chat 988lifeline.org. A message from Iowa HHS.
Our mission at Oak Knoll is to provide exceptional retirement living and health services through Life Care. I'm Steve Rowe, CEO. We are a not-for-profit life plan community and have served the Iowa City area for 58 years. Oak Knoll is located near the University of Iowa hospitals and clinics, Kinnick Stadium, Carver Hawkeye Arena, Hancher Auditorium, and downtown Iowa City. Visit our website at oakknoll.com to learn more. We are a proud sponsor of Hawkeye Athletics. Go Hawks!
Live from the Watermill Kitchen and Bar inside the Hyatt Regency in Coralville, this has been Hawk Talk with Jensen, presented by Oak Knoll Retirement Community. Also brought to you by 988. There is hope with a 988 Lifeline. Call or text 988 for free, 24/7. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Honda. To see how Honda crushes the competition, see your Central Midwest Honda dealer. Honda gets the Midwest. Powered by the University of Iowa Energy Collaborative, empowering Hawkeyes to do energy right. Oak Knoll, an active life care community. University of Iowa Healthcare, changing medicine, changing lives. U.S. Bank, proud to support Iowa basketball. U.S. Bank, equal housing lender, member FDIC. And by Wimmer's Meats, the official hot dog of the Hawkeyes. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation on the Hawkeye Sports Network.